plus, honestly, people always get shocked about this, but radio is much more lucrative than
much more
local TV.
Yeah.
Local TV, there used to be, masters of the universe in local sports. There are guys making, there's a guy Bob Lobel in Boston making $1 million a year. There's a guy in Minneapolis making $800,000. They used to pay a lot of money for these guys. Then they realized that nobody cared.
It's 3
and
minutes
they give you
a night.
like 2 minutes, and you can't really do much. Now, why are we paying these people? So they started to chop, 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 chop.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Straight Down the Middle-ish. This is what a treat here. We had Prosser on a couple weeks back, but now
how'd that go for y'all?
That
wasn't a
How
career.
many hits did you
It's
have?
still up and going.
Most
this pod?
downloaded episode ever.
I mean, it's the most feedback I've gotten unsolicited from people. Just
High bar, Hick. You better bring
Dying.
it.
Did you keep it clean during
dying
that?
I
laughing.
don't know, did
yeah,
I? I probably
he
did.
He did.
I may
he
have said
was
shit
great.
show. I think that's as far as I went. I think.
I mean, we
But I may
we
be
keep
wrong.
this,
Dipshit.
Did I say dipshit
PG-13.
also?
No, I said
that's
that
what he
once with
said.
you
Oh,
guys.
you say it on
On
the
air.
radio.
Yeah.
Different game, right?
Yeah.
Finger on the dump button.
Scott, take it away. This is Hero Day for you.
It really is. I mean, growing up in Jacksonville, I've known you guys from the TV side of things, or from the other side of the TV. Hick, watching you doing sideline 95. I mean, that was the peak in our high school days. Watching Bulls just absolutely dominate the scene, but. We were kind of like, okay, what the hell are we going to talk about with these guys today? So let's bring up some old stories.
Okay.
Kind of look at y'all as the anchormen of.
Yeah, they are.
Well, we do
Jackson.
have many
You're
leather-bound books.
full-on
Yes,
celebrity in this town. You
Oh,
can't
my.
go
Yeah.
to dinner. You can. There's no way you can go to dinner and not get recognized.
Well, that's fine.
He's
He's a man
you
that
like
discovered
that.
the wheel.
I mean, I think it. If you do something for 35 years, you hope you do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't get recognized, you're probably not doing it very well. You know what I'm saying? So, in that respect, but I never minded. Although I did have one boss tell me that she saw me turn down an autograph, and I said, "That's just not true. I don't know
wow.
what you're talking about." And she goes, "I saw it. I saw a little kid." I go, I could have been oblivious, but I never have turned down an autograph. Why would I? I don't get that many requests.
Selfie.
You know what the
requests.
best one though? Here's your autograph story. And he had to do this too. We used to have to go to the Shrimp Fest every year.
Oof.
Okay,
In
and make an
Amelia?
appearance. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
With the
Fernandina
people.
Beach Shrimp Festival.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
we'd
people
sit
of the
in a
first coast
tent,
there.
Okay. And we would sign autographs and hand out like a koozie or a pen, a gift set, right? And so if you want a dose of reality, so you'd sign these little glossy pictures, Dan Hicken, sports anchor. You sign, and you'd be there for an hour or whatever, and then you'd finish and you'd leave. And you'd walk away and it'd be all over the ground. Like, that's all
Highly
need.
sought after.
That's what I need to know.
The best thing about the publicity photos, find me a publicity photo of anyone that's been taken within the last 7 years.
Oh, yeah, they're old.
Person in the publicity
Right,
photo always looks like 7 years ago when they took
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Glamour
I look at
shots.
pictures now and who's that little old man? And they say, that's you, Hick.
Yeah.
The hair went white. Bob
Yeah.
Barker, if you've been away from Jacksonville for a long time and you showed up, you go, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a mess.
Dude got
I'm not gonna
old.
lie.
It happens quick.
Oh,
I
goes
mean,
fast,
it's
boys.
flying
Enjoy the
by.
ride.
So y'all went with intention to University of Florida to get into what you're doing
Yes.
for a career.
Yeah, I figured.
Imagine that going to college for,
I didn't. I
for
fell
what you
into
want to
it.
do
You
later in
fell
life.
into it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something sports. I didn't know I wanted to do
Yeah.
broadcasting
Yeah.
per se.
To me, it was 100%. I'm going to try this TV thing. It was a blessing to know because, and the good thing is, I knew at a young age, I had no athletic ability, really, quite frankly, So I wasn't like you guys in terms of being able to compete or anything like that. I was like, I played water polo.
So there was
swam.
there was a broadcasting major at Florida.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Broadcast journalism.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Telecommunication, I
Vo-
think
like
they technically
vo-
call it.
voice-
I was the last year where you could be broadcast news or telecommunication.
Voice training. Is
mine
that
was-
part of it? Part of it? No.
Nah, they just kind of they
Because
just threw you out
most
there.
kids now, when they come out of these broadcast majors, they're,
yeah.
I've had a few
Yeah,
of
that's
those.
cliche.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
playing the role of a
And
broadcaster.
Florida gives you a lot of opportunity. He went through it more than me. Like you did more of the sports stuff at Florida.
Yeah, I did a ton of them.
I did a lot of the news stuff.
Yeah, I did all sports.
My dad always said, Daniel, why don't you be a news anchor? I said, Dad, I don't want to be a news anchor. He goes, you look on TV, you see old men doing news. You don't see old men doing sports. I'm like, yeah, but it's no fun. I could never do the news
No.
stuff. No. I've had a couple times they asked me. I said,
I was actually. They still had it was telecommunication, but within you could be like a broadcast news major, a broadcast production major, broadcast management major. I was at one point in just in order to get the classes I need. I was all three at one point. I think technically I'm a broadcast management major.
That's what your degree is in?
Which I think now at this stage probably should carry a little more authority than it does moving forward.
You should have more
As a
say in the
broadcast-
show than I do.
think so. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so.
So y'all wound up at the same network here in town. Is that how the friendship began? And then how did y'all start?
I was ahead of him.
How'd y'all start?
He's
that?
4 years older than me.
How'd y'all get into radio?
The radio was
radio's-
for him.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I mean, it's not new, but
20 years, bro.
Here's what
but
we-
you guys started it, right? There's like you guys
Well,
in a group of
some of the Godfathers, the David Lamb and Frangie, Jay Solomon is a name that goes way back, had done it. But what we did, I will say this for what we did.
We kicked their ass.
We did that.
We came in there and took
we
it by
we
storm.
advanced it past the old school sports radio deal. You know, we kind of modernized it. I would say that. And what it was for us is the sports finals show we used to do on Sunday nights, which got incredibly popular when we were both working television.
Yeah.
And it was a 45-minute. We just kind of ad lib on our feet. Kind of was different for the time.
It's like
for
Tom Jackson and Berman.
kind of that same type thing.
Yeah.
And so I decided, let me take this concept of this, what we do on sports finals, see if we can't get a radio show somewhere, just make a little extra money. And so we did that, honestly, probably 20 years ago about. And then, just kind of grew it from there.
He didn't want to do weekends anymore. Yeah, because he was a weekend guy. He didn't. That wasn't.
I
any
got
fun.
kids,
He had
played
and
sports,
stuff,
and
yeah, and plus, honestly, people always get shocked about this, but radio is much more lucrative than
much more.
local TV.
Yeah.
Local TV, there used to be, masters of the universe in local sports. There are guys making, there's a guy Bob Lobel in Boston making $1 million a year. There's a guy in Minneapolis making $800,000. They used to pay a lot of money for these guys. Then they realized that nobody cared.
It's 3
and they
minutes
gave
a
you like
night.
2 minutes, and you can't really do much.
Yeah.
Now, why are we paying these people? So they started to chop, 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 chop.
And it's brutal now.
yeah, and now
Do
it's
not
fun.
send your kids into the TV broadcast business. It is awful.
Well, y'all are the content creators. You are the show. You're driving the demand.
Yeah.
People are going to that for
Correct.
news. This is a totally different animal, and
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense.
Well,
and you
your
can
own
be more
boss.
you for
Yeah.
3 hours than you can for 3 minutes.
And look, it's not sports. You're not an athlete, but like an athlete, you live and die with your results. You can think, oh yeah, this is a good idea. We're going to do this, or we're going to try this. And if it fails and you lose, well, it's on you. It's not because you did something you didn't believe in because someone told you to. So there's some value in that.
My goal, boys, is to make it in TV to 2026, because then I'd have 40.
Wow.
And I think if I made 40 years, I think that would be the longest run for any sportscaster in town. I know Sammy didn't get 40. I'd have to check on like Walt Dunbar, guys before us, Cooney and those guys.
Was Sam Kavaris your biggest rival?
Yeah.
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 I love it.
Yeah, we went. Me and Sammy went toe to toe one time. He got mad at me, and we were.
Did he have the mustache then? Or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
bigger than
Sam
me. but-
without the mustache is not Sam. By
It's
the way.
not,
You gotta
right?
Grow it back.
Safari Sam.
Stop it.
But we were outside Jaguar Stadium. This is the mid '90s, yelling at each other. It was great.
You know,
This
it
is
is.
the scene from Anchorman.
Hey,
It
you
really
know what?
is.
You know what's funny? It is like a scene from Anchorman, because I remember that happening, and within
Yeah.
a month of that happening, I got into it nose to nose with Matt Morrison, who was their weekend sports guy.
wow.
Like the exact same. In fact, I
Yes.
think it may have been like
Over
a
the same
spin-off
thing.
of,
Stemmed
the,
from
of
that.
what they were fighting about. But same thing, like
Somebody
plus
threw
you're
a
younger and
trident.
hot-headed. You're literally
Yeah.
like, you're on the verge maybe of like throwing down. If you're not in the middle of the make a total ass out of yourself, temper's got that hot.
Yeah, we were hot.
And then you
We
get
were
older
hothead
and you
back
realize,
then.
what am I doing? No,
And now
no
I like,
fighting after 50.
I have so much respect for what he accomplished and what he did in his career. I tip my cap to him. So,
Good thing there was no social media back then.
oh, that's been good. They would have.
You would have
let me tell
blown up.
Phones.
that AP Mark Long. He would have shot that video
Oh,
in
for
a second
sure.
and posted
Yeah.
it.
You see some good, memorable stuff in locker rooms, and when you get all these local media together, who,
Yeah.
by the way, get as sick of each other as your families and other.
Do your
do.
do your lives change day to day? Like just how you feel about your job with how the Jaguars like if they're
How
good
they're
one,
going?
yes. Like if we've had terrible runs,
But
like
you know what,
4 or
Matty?
5 years.
Here's the one thing, and I think we're excited like the fans,
Yeah.
right? And we The only thing I haven't done is go to a Super Bowl with my Jag. For me, what the last thing I really want to accomplish in television is go to a Super Bowl where the Jags are in it.
You're talking though like you want to make 40 years, but bro, I mean, when the Jags could be like here at your 40th year, you're not stopping there, bro.
But when they lose, it's great radio.
Is it?
Yeah.
When they lost 20 games in a row, we'd come in and scream and yell.
But like selling ads,
stuff at each other.
Is selling ads easier when they're better or worse or better?
Business is booming right now at
Good.
1010X. So not just with us and not just the show, but the actual business side of it certainly helps when people are excited. Look, it makes the whole town a friendlier, happier place.
Every male I know that's
I will say this about what we do that is unfair. I think we get the joy almost the same of a Jaguar fan when they win. But, and I hate to admit this, it doesn't hurt when they lose. Like, I don't feel the pain of, like, when the Braves, like, what, like.
You sell the shit out of that because I've heard you some mornings just screaming at the Jaguars.
Frustratingly, I can do it.
But I think but
I mean, the passion meter inside of you doesn't get.
I'm with you, and I feel that too. I
Yeah.
don't have the emotional connection like when I went to Auburn. When we would lose a heartbreaker, I'm breaking something.
Stomach hurts.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
day.
not. It ruins my next day and Monday going into work.
Yeah, but the NFL's so spread out now, and it's not life or death until the playoffs. So you have that.
Your fantasy team could win that week, and you
Something
could
keeps going.
have a nice little bet.
Yeah.
So the Jags lost, no big deal.
Yeah.
And also, there's some truth to this too.
But I think too, I was going to say, he has twin boys. I have 2 sons and a daughter. I think that because they're born in Jacksonville, and my younger son left the Cowboy game. I think it was the Cowboy game.
Left early.
Learned a valuable lesson.
Oh wow!
And so
he left early.
He left early,
God.
and he didn't leave the Chargers game.
Yeah.
The Ravens game, the Titans game.
Yeah. So they learn as they go. You know what I mean?
I think one thing too, like speaking of that passion point of I'm really happy and excited, and I think it's by association. You want people to be happy and excited, and whereas when they lose, it doesn't hit you in the gut like you were saying it did for you at Auburn. I think part of that too is, we've been here since they announced they were having a stadium. It's kind of the old, I hate to be cliche, but it's like the metaphor. If you worked in a sausage factory and saw how the sausage was made, you probably wouldn't like that sausage dog quite as much. And when you're inside an NFL locker room day after day after day for the business and the coverage side, you get disattached from the passion part because you become part of
You're too close.
the NFL machine as an industry is more than as a
I got to show you guys a
fan
picture.
base.
I'll do it after this.
There
was something in Super 70s Sports today from a sausage. You got to speak of sausage. This is unbelievable, dude. Anyway,
I mean, I like sausage. Don't go doing this.
No, you gotta
don't
look
do
at
that
this.
to me.
This is unbelievable, bro. This
There's
is
nothing like a
disgusting.
brat. Is
I had
there?
dinner the other night in P.F. Chang's Atlanta Airport with Davis Love.
Okay.
And
Sneakily one of the best.
and he was at the playoff game and left early.
Oh,
he was?
No.
Charger.
Yeah.
Yep.
He got a long drive.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
It's kind of quiet name drop there. Did you hear that?
That was good.
I was
D
in the
Love
airport with the former Ryder captain.
There it is.
Captain.
Pross, look at that.
Oh,
Let me see.
it is beyond sausage. That's
disgusting.
correct.
Oh,
Just for
Oh, wow.
clarity, it's shaped like a penis, ladies and gentlemen.
Why does it look that way?
shaped like a penis that hasn't been used.
Yeah,
in a while.
I hope nobody is afflicted with a penis that looks exactly like that, or you're in for.
Lake
Yeah.
Placid.
Why is that in the Super 70 Sports?
I don't
So,
know.
did you guys watch the Johnny Manziel documentary?
Yes.
He did.
God, you haven't watched it?
I haven't yet.
So good.
It is.
I will
really
get
good.
to it though. I will
Yeah.
watch it.
It's
What did you
bite
think?
size.
Hit home.
It hit home hard for me. Yeah, it did. There's a lot of self-sabotage
Yeah.
in there.
But you know what it is too, in fairness, and somebody called and said don't feel sorry for him, but I couldn't help it. It's too much too fast for some people.
I mean, he
You're
said
young.
it. That Alabama game changed his life right there.
I mean, you're 18 years old and you're a really good Texas high school quarterback. You want to go to Texas? They say you can come here and play safety. He goes to A&M and takes the world by storm.
It does bring up an interesting point too with the whole NIL stuff. I hate NIL.
I know.
Hate it. But Johnny Manziel literally built them a new fucking stadium, dude.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
and got
did.
nothing for it.
Right.
Nothing. They did. Well, he got something, but he went and got it himself and broke
Yeah,
the
he
rules.
did. But
Then,
but those are pennies on the dollar what he got
100%.
for himself compared
it's
to
like
what.
it's like Timmy at Florida though.
Yeah.
Like the University of Florida could have wrote Tim Tebow a check for $10 million a day he graduated, as much as he brought
worth
into
it,
that school. You know, and Johnny's the same. And but he's 18 years old. The world is his. You know, a lot of 18-year-olds are going to take advantage and not think about the long-term ramifications and think they're just going to be great at every level without realizing that you got to, when you get to the NFL is a great equalizer, boys.
In watching that, do you also get the sense that his early success, it screwed any chance for him having long-term success because he got so infatuated with Johnny that what's remarkable about that is that the guy doesn't know a thing about football.
Nothing.
He
Never
doesn't
watched
know anything
film.
about football.
It's like a guitar player who doesn't know how to read.
And
music.
if he hadn't had all
Great analogy.
if
right
he
there.
hadn't had all of that success early, maybe he would have had to learn
and
football.
I remember that draft being
sure.
I was all in.
Yeah.
Because we were
He was
mud,
too.
dude, and I just wanted him
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
put butts in the seats.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
We took Blake.
We took Blake.
It's like if we wouldn't take Tim Tebow, we cannot take Johnny Manziel. And of course,
Yeah.
we went with the boat. Well, I'll take the boat. He was fun. I mean,
Boat
he's
was
a
fun.
classic
Threw
Jaguar.
a few
He is
end
a
over
classic
end.
Jack.
It's not
Yeah.
No, hey, that worked out fine.
Yeah.
Did.
I'm very happy.
I mean,
with Blake.
accuracy's very overrated.
I'm shocked at the amount of partying that took a toll, obviously, on his talent, but he still had the talent. Like, he was walking out playing in NFL games.
Kingsbury was great in that episode.
Yes.
I thought he knew damn well what was going on at all times.
Yes.
Johnny Manziel, but look, the guy was producing, and you know what are you gonna
And
do?
he wasn't the head coach either, so, you know, he
Hey,
kind of
Matty, I got a golf question for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah.
I see
Why
a-
do you
I
think
see a
Kevin?
follow-up
Why
in
do
his
you think
eyeballs
Kevin
there.
Summerlin wasn't in that?
that's a good question. He was not. You know who else wasn't? None of his A&M teammates.
Yeah, that's
It kind of focused on John. The only thing, my only criticism of it, and you watched it too, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to see. I wanted to see more of what he was doing now. All
Yeah.
they showed him was in Scottsdale with his boys partying.
and it looks like
makes
he's
me
still
nervous.
doing the same.
It
So
makes me
I'll tell
nervous.
you why someone wasn't in it.
rough crowd.
He's still trying to get a job in college football.
Yeah,
that might be it.
He was
Thinking
probably
yourself from that.
very, very compliant, just like Kingsbury. Kingsbury's in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a chance he goes back to
Yeah,
college,
Yeah.
given his track record.
I have a golf question for you, Matty.
Is it-
It's generated just on the spot as I look at what I consider.
How much have you lost gambling?
No, it's
that's not
nothing.
it.
Nothing to do with that.
What are you looking at?
The logo. We're looking at the logo.
Yeah.
The best logo in sports is the Live Forever Golf logo, and it's
I agree.
Matty wound up, right, ready to just throw
It's a
it.
sand wedge.
ready to
Huck
tear
and a
my
sand
labrum.
wedge.
So my point is this, though. My question in looking at is, what is the angriest you've ever been on the golf course?
Oh man, there's a
You
bunch
can
of
go back
tied-
to
there's a bunch
you
of
can go
tied
back
for
to
first.
junior golf. What if you had to say?
I got a great junior golf anger.
Okay, let
story.
me hear
Tell us.
the junior golf
I got a
anger
good one,
story,
too.
and then I want to know the angry. I don't mean frustrated. I don't mean despondent. I don't mean sad.
Okay.
I mean pissed.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you my junior golf anger story first. So I was not a highly sought out recruit in junior golf. I didn't play a ton.
Okay.
I played basketball in high school, or going up to
Yeah.
Other sports.
16, 17
Yeah.
You were like a
old.
normal kid, not these live guys.
Yeah, and I wasn't. My parents weren't loaded, so we weren't playing AJGA tournaments. It was just kind of I played what I played in. So I played this tournament in Dothan, Alabama, called the Future Masters. all right?
Yes.
I'm nobody at the time.
All
My grandfather had a sailboat in the Bahamas. He would stay on in the summer, and my dad and sister went down there for the summer with him. So it was like my mom and I summer. All
Okay.
right. So we're playing Future Masters, and
How old are you?
I got to be like 13 years
Okay.
old.
Is Bubba Dickerson in the field?
No, I'm older than that. I'm like 15 or 16. I'm in high school. I'm like freshman in high
Okay.
school. Maybe.
All right.
So I go out in the first 9 and I shoot 30. All right.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
now there's news cameras coming out. All right.
Oh boy.
And I just totally crapped the bed on the back 9. I shoot 40, but in the process of doing this, on one hole I was in the trees, and I tried whatever I tried to do, it didn't work out, and I just lost it. All right.
Where
So-
did you lose it?
Hold on, in the tree. I just lost it. Like I don't know what I
Okay.
did, but
Okay.
I was showing my ass.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So that night, my mom and I are in the hotel room.
No TV news.
We got the local news on.
The Wiregrass
Sports
local
guy-
news.
the Dan Hicken of
Oh, no.
the Dan Hicken of Dothan,
Dothan.
Alabama goes, Now, kids, we know it's hot out here, but this is no way to act. My mom's right next to me. It was so good.
This is no way to
that's
act.
awesome.
It was so good.
Hey, I'll give you
the most mad I've ever been though, man. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of tied for first. Like I
like the legitimate anger, not frustration. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, like boiling.
I mean, like
anger.
if I
like
would,
rage.
I don't care who you put in front of me, I'd beat him up.
That
Yes.
kind of mad. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a bunch.
You mentioned getting busted in front of your mom. I'll never forget. Imagine this for my personality. You guys are going to find this hard to believe, but I'm about 6 and I'm on a field trip, with my elementary school, and my mother is one of the chaperones. And so I am being extra sure to be a class clown show if I can get away with it because my mom is one of the chaperones. And this stuck with me for all these years.
You were smart even then.
And we were walking along, and I'm just being a dickhead probably. And a lady comes up, and she looks at my mom, and she says to her, "There's one in every crowd in there."
Oh God.
That stuck with me. I've never felt smaller
so
in my life. And I thought, how dangerous it was for that woman to say that. If it weren't my mom, because it was my mom, I at least knew, okay, I'm not really that bad normally.
Yes.
But man, yeah. One in every crowd.
So
said.
I got a.
But they didn't put it on TV, Matt.
you're angry.
They didn't do that.
Yeah. So this was the Carolina Open.
Okay.
This was a mini tour event, like 2005.
All right.
Chasing the dream. Got my brother on the bag.
Okay.
I'm on my way to missing the cut again by 1 or 2, and just always right on the cut line. But we show up to the second round, and my driver's not in my bag. My brother had taken it out, left it in the hotel room. So I have to go in.
Older or younger brother?
Younger.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have to go inside to the pro shop, and I'm playing with a freaking demo. And then I break the demo after about 4 holes.
Purposely.
And yes, I'm like, I get this thing out of my life. I'm just going to play with 3-wood the rest of the day. And I was playing pretty decent. Then something doesn't go my way on about 16. And I accept my fate. And then I'm you get like this calmness about you because you have something premeditated. I'm like, I'm good. Okay. Miss the green on the 18th hole and just slowly pull each club out and just barely break it. Like I called it the root beer float. Just
One after
pull
the
it,
other.
Just anybody want another? Okay, crank.
The
Broke
root beer float.
every single club
This
in my
is
back.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had them before because I've got a rapport with the officials out there.
Uh-huh.
I know there's some that won't write you up. There's some that will, and there's the ones that
It's like knowing cops, right
the
there.
ones that-
this
yeah.
guy he helped me get home the other night.
Oh, they profile big time too out there. Like if I hit a shot and it's not great, I know they're keeping their eyes on me an extra 10 seconds longer than the
Right.
next guy.
Right.
Sometimes if I saw that, I'd look right at it. If I was pissed and I saw them looking at me trying to bust me, I'd do it for them. Just do it right in front of their face.
Oh my God.
Like dare them to write me up. All right, I want to get to this Phil Mickelson stuff.
Yes.
Have you guys have been touching on the radio a little
Yes.
bit?
Yeah.
That was an all-time. Okay, for me, I know exactly how this came out of Phil's mouth, but this is an all-time quote right here out of this book from Phil. Talking about Tom Candiotti. Did you see that one?
I did not.
He went to
Ooh.
Vegas with a bunch of buddies. And
The knuckleballer.
Tom's going up. They're getting
Cincinnati
ready to go
Red?
place their bets, and,
Yeah.
and Phil goes, "You guys go ahead because when I place my bets, it might move the line." That is all-time Phil Mickelson.
That's fair.
It's all.
Yes.
It is fair, but the way I know he said it in a way that was like,
Like a prick.
"You guys go
Yeah.
ahead," because
Right, shocker.
when I did,
So when you look at this story, you have to take it, and we talked about this morning a little bit. You have to take it. The Walters guy hates Phil Mickelson.
Yes.
I understand.
Consider
that,
the source.
right? And I'm not saying, but do I believe everything he said? Yes, I do.
100%.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Billy Walters was my pro-am partner at Pebble Beach one year.
Okay.
When Manning had just left the Colts.
Okay.
And I mean, for me, this is a dream partner,
Yeah, right.
dude. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I said-
Did you know who he was at the time that he's?
when it came out and it said Walters
Yeah.
and Every, I was like, And then Steve Elkington came up to me. He goes, "Hey, you're playing with my buddy this week," and I was like, "Is that Billy Walters?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "He's the man."
Okay.
And I was like, and I knew who he
Allegedly
was.
the best sports bettor of all time.
Dude, the
That's what
guy,
they say,
nobody even takes action. He had to have like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. So
Hence the relationship with Phil.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Phil
yeah.
jock sniffed him as much as the other way around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good point.
I was like, I learned more in 3 days than I did in 12 years of schooling from Billy Walters. Yeah, I was picking his brain, but he told me at the time, he was like, bet the Jets to win the Super Bowl because they're going to make the NFL wants both the Manning brothers in New York City. And then obviously he ended up going to the Broncos.
Right.
But it's
Interesting.
pretty cool. Yeah. It's man, that guy, and I would not, he's one of those guys, he's a little man.
Yeah.
But you do not want to cross, I would not want to cross that guy.
If anybody makes their living gambling,
Yeah.
and I'm saying makes the living too.
That's a
not
small
loses.
percentage.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
small.
I'm talking, if they're successful at it,
You know we're going to keep getting more of these little passages from this book too. It ain't.
When
And
does the book come out?
I got a kick. The comes out this month, I believe, but they released it on a site or something. Is that what happened? But I do get a kick out of Phil saying, and he just got into I never bet on the Ryder Cup. Right, you asked him to bet.
You tried to.
Yeah.
I couldn't bet. I tried.
And speaking of that, let's just say he did have $400,000 on that.
Yeah.
What a Mongolian reversal that was on
Yeah.
Sunday, because they had that in the bag and lost. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The miracle.
I hope
of
he got it
Medina?
in.
Well, they don't get paid to play in the Ryder Cup, and he was looking for a way to get compensated. Right?
I don't. I
Can you
was
blame
talking about
him?
this on the radio today. This is not a.
I have no issues with his bets, by the way.
Same.
I
Crap.
said this.
Go ahead,
I don't.
dude.
I
Yeah.
This isn't the popular opinion, but I don't mind. It's not team sports. First of all, team sports. I don't care if you're betting for or against. I'm not down with that because it could. There's implications there. But if it's an individual sport, if you're betting on yourself,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. But somebody did offer.
Ryder's team.
The
though.
problem is if you're not betting on yourself, though, you don't.
Right.
You're sending off the message that you don't think you
Like,
can win.
yeah, I don't know about this.
So that did make a little bit of sense, but people wouldn't have to know necessarily.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm with you. Those guys bet on themselves every day of their
Sure,
lives, right?
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it's an individual sport, I hear what you're saying.
What do you think about airing of the laundry, though? It's a male gossip. It's a little like.
Okay, two
what's
things.
What are we doing here?
I think Phil really fucked him. Not
Big time.
Didn't pay him back.
yes.
No, he
No.
wanted
No,
him to
no,
go.
no. He
sent him to
testify.
jail.
needed to go testify, so
Yeah.
he would not have gone to jail
Yeah.
if Phil
Right.
testified.
According to Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil didn't do it. Billy goes to jail for 5 years.
Also loses his daughter
And
during that
during
time.
that.
She killed herself, and
Oh
he
my
said
God.
in the book, I think I could have saved her if I wasn't in jail. So he hates Phil Mickelson. Which
I
get.
mean, look, at the end of the day, I just look, and I know there's a lot of Phil stands out there. Whatever, you can have your favorite athletes. This guy is the biggest phony in history. I'll give you the latest example. Part of his admission in answering, part of his answering this book was like, it's well documented I had a gambling problem, and through therapy I've stopped gambling, blah, 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 right?
Then he
You
just
guys
did a
read that?
YouTube video with Bryson.
And he just did a YouTube video with Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah.
Okay, we're playing
Yeah.
back nine, greedy, blah, blah,
Yeah.
1,000. Like, he can't play a round of golf without putting 14 layers of gambling right after he released a statement saying, I no longer gamble. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man.
That's just too. I mean, that's
just
so much
He's
action.
one of a kind. I'm not in for airing people's dirty laundry. I think that's extremely messed
I
up.
didn't think
this
that was that
this
dirty.
situation is a little different.
Very different.
Yeah.
We knew the book was coming, though.
Yeah.
And we knew that Billy was going to talk about Phil. It does sound like, again, why it's so believable, it seems like Billy kept a ledger.
He
I mean,
did-
he's sitting there going, yeah, no, June
And they
22nd,
do that.
he had
Yeah.
43 bets going on Major
Yeah.
League Baseball.
Wow. Wow.
On baseball?
Some live bets.
I
in there.
didn't listen. The
I
money.
mean, I'm laying $1,000 on the Ravens to win the preseason game this weekend, but that's it.
I told
that's
you.
a
And the
lot.
Jags in
Stay
the
away.
first quarter.
23 in a row.
That's
You
it.
got the
Yeah.
Jags first quarter as
Jags
well.
first quarter.
This guy.
Who wins the toss though? Doesn't that help?
It would.
The bit you said about Dan Campbell caring about preseason is like that's
Yeah.
That's
be
in.
something
That's
to
true, too.
that.
Just saying.
You guys heard on the radio again. I'm not bailing you out this fall. You know, don't call me in September needing $3,000 real quick.
I kid because I care.
Can't.
Did
do it.
y'all cover the players or TPC back in the day?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
years.
So what was
Terrific.
y'all's? I mean, did y'all ever have any run-ins with Phil? Or I mean, he was.
He
I
has a
did.
good one. He
I
has a
had
good
one.
Phil story. It
Um,
wasn't just Phil, though.
It was and now it's a small one. It
Yeah.
wasn't a big one, but it was definitely one of those where I walked away going, "Wow, what a dick."
You learn a lot about him,
Yeah.
right?
It was a year we were having a lot of weather issues.
Rain delay.
And by the way, here's another factor of rain delay. If you're working in local television, it's cut like you need these opportunities to be grabbing players to fill content.
Amanda Balionis did a great job of that.
Yeah.
the other
Okay,
night.
so
They
we're
don't bring the golfers to us.
to us. We got to
gotta
go get them,
them.
right? And so we are down. The media center was right next to the parking lot, and I see Mickelson and Bones heading out to the car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I said, "Well, I gotta go get Phil Mickelson." I'll go out there. I mean, I'm literally like, Maddie, it's going to take a minute, bro,
Yeah, yeah.
just real quick.
Yeah.
And I went over and I said, hey, blah, blah, blah. And those two looked at me in the term that I used. They looked at me like I had a turd hanging from my mouth.
Wow.
They stared at me for about a half a second and then said like something to like no media and then got in. I said, okay, so you're a dick. I get it.
Well, now I'm sure there's all kinds of rules where that
Now you wouldn't be allowed
can't
to,
even
but
do
you
that.
were then.
Then
I
you
didn't do
could.
anything wrong. It's not
No.
like, but you're right. Now, if you approached them in the parking lot,
Matty.
some from the tour would come, hey, what are you doing? It has to be with here. But back
Give
then,
me your credential.
correct.
Matty, back in the day, and
This
I've,
is 20 years
I've
ago,
said this many times, and this is the American golfers, man. They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And the Euros is nice. I could go up to during the practice rounds. I go up to. I remember going Nick Price, #1 in the world.
Great guy.
Stopped him.
Great
shot
guy.
Did an interview. Thank you, Graham
Probably
McDowell.
smoke a cig with you.
You would.
Yeah.
I mean, all those guys. I mean, they're
Squeaky.
great, and you can't help but start liking those guys. And then you get to the Ryder Cup, and you're like, oh.
Well, just to be clear, you're
And then-
talking Euro, not Australian, right? Because Greg Norman is also exactly
That's
what you
fair.
think he is.
That's
I've
fair.
had I've had a couple with him through the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another just
Sweet.
total
Spot
dick
on.
mode all the time.
Here's a Greg Norman story, TV wise. We still use it. Martineau was out getting him. He was doing a clinic at like Jack's Golf, all right, or something, a few years ago.
Not, 4 or 5, wasn't that long.
Yeah, and so we like to get the celebrity guys to say, "Hey, I'm Greg Norman. You're watching Action Sports Jacks."
Yeah.
Just cut the line. It's no big deal. We get everybody comes through, and so he asks Norman, and Norman is not. He's like, what? And then finally he goes, and then he goes like this. He goes, I'm Greg Norman. You're watching Action Sports Jacks. And we dubbed in the John Cena thing on it and had fun with it. But yeah,
I had it.
Jerk.
I had a similar one to him. This was like back in the early 90s, and the Nestle used to be, at the time it was the Nestle. That's how long it was. The Nestle was the week before the players, and so we'd have to go down to the Nestle.
Disney.
Bay Hill, right.
Yeah.
The Nestle Invitational, I think it
Yeah.
was then.
Yeah.
But we would go
Robert
down.
Gomez.
We'd have to gather all this stuff to put together for the next week. Greg Norman was #1 in the world, so I went down. I had to go follow. He's playing his practice round or maybe even his first round. I follow him around. We get done. I tell him why I'm there, what I got to do. He's just surly. He's right. And I'm not going to give up. I came all the way down here. I'm getting this fucking interview. So you can guys, I'm following along. He's cussing me now at this point. Get the I keep going. I finally wear him down. He's got the biggest scowl on his face. The light goes on. I ask the first question. Bing. Big smile. Just
Jeez.
as gracious as could be, because he knows he ain't talking to me now. He's talking to
What a-
wherever this is going. I've never seen a guy
What a weirdo.
go from just so acidic and
You never want to meet your heroes.
That's
Amen.
One of
That's
my
true.
best friends
Amen.
on the tour, Spencer Levine, his hero growing up was Greg Norman. He would spray paint his golf shoes white. All right, he was obsessed with Greg.
Right.
First time he ever got paired with him in an event, he was
Hated
like,
him.
"This, are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
It was such a letdown for him. It broke his heart.
Tom Seaver, and they told me
his
don't
heart.
meet him. I didn't want to meet Tom Seaver because he's like,
And some-
you should tell him the Justin Leonard one.
this is a good one.
This is a good one.
This is
I
a
got
good
a good. Just
Howdy
go ahead.
doody.
This is a good
This
one.
is a good
This
one.
is a good one. That's a good one. And this speaks also to Dan. You golfers are such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so you stop.
You are.
The ones that grew up at country clubs
Yeah,
are.
he's a perfect example. So, because here's the deal, dude. Here's how they relegate us to getting interviews
This is back in the day again.
at the players.
Yeah.
You got to go stand behind the guy you want to interview on the practice range.
He sees you.
And he sees you. And
You
he's
got
going
the
to make
camera
sure
set
to be
up.
Yes.
as big a dick as he can. He's going to talk to his 14 handlers while he stands there not hitting the ball. He knows you're standing there to interview him. He knows it. He's enjoying the fact that he's just making you stand there and waste your time, right? And so I'm waiting. And then I even get, and you got to go to the caddy, right? You go to the caddy. All right, I need to interview him. Okay, yeah. After this after this basket. And so I'll wait, and I'll wait for like.
Was he like the defending champ or
He
something?
was there. It was around. He made that name actually.
Probably,
It
yeah.
was around that time.
Okay.
And so fine, and I'm waiting, and he knows I'm waiting, and he's just got that Justin Leonard look on his face, right? And
Who, by the way, became a member of the media, which always annoys us when you're not cool with the media.
so here we go. So we're sitting there.
Spot on. Dude.
So we're sitting there. So I'm waiting this whole time. He finishes the first bucket, and I know he's talking to his caddy. He stops, kind of looks at me, and he knocks the balls out over the second bucket. And he's going to start hitting them. And I turn to my photographer, and I said, you know what? fuck this dick. Let's go.
You say it loud enough.
Said it loud enough for him to hear me.
Perfect.
I said, you don't have to be a dick. I probably didn't choose the F word. I was probably like, God, what a dick. And I grabbed my stuff and I left, right? Fast forward about 5 hours later. I'm standing over next to the putting green. We're working, my photographer's there. And a guy comes up behind me and he taps me on the shoulder. He goes, I can do that interview now. I said, I know guys out here can be a dick sometimes.
Oh, he said it too.
So at least acknowledge it. At least, it did it. But it was like the worst case of just
He
snubbing
said, like,
him.
not bad for a dick.
Yeah, not bad for a dick. He wasn't quite as gracious as that
Yeah.
guy. Something.
Yeah.
Something.
He redeemed himself.
He
a little
redeemed
bit.
himself
got
a
it.
bit, but he also did it with a little bit of stay in your lane. There's a little
Right.
bit of that.
Faldo's walking on the range one time. So we're doing something on the finishing holes. Just, Nick, what about real quick, what about the finishing holes? Looks at me, goes, par 5, par 3, par 4. Kept walking.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
I love.
Can I get some more, Nick? I got a job to do.
We'll talk about the Surly
Nick,
guy.
it's Tuesday. Hey, what
He
That's
really
so
did
good.
soften up over the. He was
He was
so good on TV.
Yeah.
And he was.
Oh, yeah.
He was surly in person.
And he owned it. I think he's
I
admitted
miss
that.
Nick Faldo on TV.
Oh,
He
yeah.
did too.
A lot of
Back.
times the guys who come across, a lot of times the guys are who you thought they are. Because, like, if they let themselves, as guarded and as much as they know what's going on, if they let themselves look like an ass
Yeah.
then they just are such an ass they can't help themselves. So guys like Curtis Strange and Colin Montgomery, it's real. Those
Yeah.
guys are asses. They're
No way around it.
There's no way around it. They can try not to be, but they just are at their core. That's what they are.
Curtis, did you know that he did something, I don't know,
No, he had a bunch of
birdies in a row or something?
consecutive holes without a bogey.
Yeah. Curtis, were you aware of that? No shit.
Oh wow.
Literally.
Thank you, Kurt.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
You kind of got a Kurt vibe.
It's
no,
the hair.
I hope
It's the
not.
hair.
It's the hair.
Curtis, though, all-time burn from Tiger, which I love.
Yeah, it was.
Lives in
You'll
infamy.
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
No,
up
I
with-
won't.
You'll learn.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
you're wrong, Kurt.
I was
Oh.
playing with Justin Leonard, like kind of on the back end of his
Uh-huh.
tour career. We're at Riviera, and it was on Friday. We're both gonna miss the cut. I was playing good at the time, and on the 18th hole they have this leaderboard there, and some of these guys' headshots are not the most flattering. And I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of down in the dumps, and my caddy was all time human, and he's like comes over and like tosses me the ball, and he goes, "Hey." Goes, cheer up, because at least you don't look like that. And it was Justin Leonard over there, and it was the goofiest picture you've ever seen in your life. I was like, I needed that. Thanks. Cheer up.
great.
It was so good.
You know, one of the worst things about our business is you don't, and I have withheld myself from dream crushing fans about their favorite players.
Yes.
Like my parents' best friends came down, and I got them tickets to the players. They're from like Tennessee. They love Bubba Watson. Mm-hmm. And so
Let me
they
help
follow
you.
Bubba Watson around. I'd go join him at the 18th, and Bubba's coming up. They're like, "Oh, that Bubba Watson! He's how's he, Jeff? Is he a great guy? Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
He'll
he's
love
great.
him. Enjoy
Yeah.
some Bubba Watson."
Don't let me
dream crush.
ruin it.
Yeah, I'm not going to dream crush that Bubba Watson. I've also had Justin Leonard, Phil Mickelson type interactions with. I don't like the phony guys, man. If you want to be surly all the time, be surly. Don't pretend like you're not and then be that way. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fair.
and just to leave him alone. Steve Carlton is not going to talk. He's going to be a jerk. You leave him alone. Eddie Murray's not going to talk. He's not going to leave him alone. Don't pretend like you're.
I was down at spring training one year. Bo Jackson walking by. Bo, quick, excuse me. Just almost ran right over me. It was like, you ain't talking to me right now.
Yeah.
Okay, Bo. I see you.
And you're also dealing with guys that, I mean, they were these golfers you're talking about. They're not raised normally, man.
No, they're not.
I mean,
I get
it's,
it.
it's
I get it.
It's just a
There's some
they're a
entitlement
different breed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
get it.
so back to the players, like y'all been a part seeing the evolution of that event. It blows my mind. Like pre 9/11,
Yeah.
we were walking in with backpacks full of booze and
Right.
just we're here to party. All of a sudden, the metal detectors go up, and then the whole place just scales. It's been nuts.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. But it's amazing what they continued to, how it evolves through the years. I mean, my first one was Johnny Mahaffey,
Really?
1986.
Good God.
Yeah. And I had a buddy whose nephew got engaged to the players, and Sergio helped out. It was during practice round. He had the ring, gave the ring, and the whole deal. Nice thing. We shot it, but my buddy came in. He went to Florida. He's a golfer. lives in L.A., hadn't been to the Players in 20 years, and he was like, my God, this is unbelievable. This is like the greatest.
Yeah, how much it's grown.
Yeah, how much it's grown, like the greatest fan event in golf.
Matt, you
He's
would
been
not
to
have.
He's been to Augusta.
Is this Ping?
No, it's not Ping.
You would not have
Fraternity guy
believed.
from Florida.
Okay.
You would not have believed what that place looked like with the old clubhouse. The cart barn was
I
attached to
remember.
it. Like you're at,
I
like
went
you're
to
at
the event.
You could
Willow
walk up
Lakes
off
or
the ground
something.
to the top of the
Yes.
roof without having
I
to
mean,
head
it was
a
like,
step.
I mean, the first time covering there, it's like you're covering an event, with all due respect, at like Jack's Golf or somewhere, just like a nice country club, not a, the home of the tour and all. In fact, the first year I was here was the year they had the big controversy. The greens weren't green. Could you imagine
Oh, my
players
God.
without perfect greens?
Do you
They
remember?
were dead,
Okay, so
yellow.
That was Norman, too, by the
Yeah.
way. Dressing down
Clouk.
Clouk. Yeah.
you guys probably don't remember.
Shout out Fred Clout.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out Fred.
All the Cloukies.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
lived with a
What a
Clouk in
family.
college.
Great family.
The one that didn't play golf.
Oh,
Cross country runner.
He was cross country, right?
Yeah. The entrance at the Players behind 17. You guys probably remember this. When I was a kid, they used to have this little chipping thing, and if you won, you got to go to like the tour championship, and they'd fly you
No
there.
kidding.
My dad won that one year. Yeah, it was at the Olympic Club in San Francisco.
Oh, my God.
What?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a treat.
And my mom
Is
went
your
out
dad a
there.
good golfer?
Yeah, he was. He hadn't played in 20 years probably. I mean, but good. And he was good. Yeah.
But yeah,
I get the feeling your parents weren't the like I like the Netflix shows with the junior golfers
No,
and the
none of
parents
that.
losing their mind.
they
Like,
have that?
No, this is what it would be
haven't
with
seen
my
it.
dad and I. You ready?
like
if
short
I,
game,
if
it's
I hit a
golf?
bad shot
Okay.
in junior golf,
Yeah.
say I hit in the water to
Yeah.
the left or whatever, I'd look over and I'd see my dad, and he'd be like this,
Just shaking his head.
and I'd be like, you know what? I hit it in there on purpose, Dad, to piss you off. I mean, what do you think I'm doing? Come on, you think I'm aiming in the water?
That's got to be
mean-
a hard sport to parent with a young
I don't know.
kid.
It's the same with my base. If your kid strikes out
It will.
looking, you do the
I'm
same
with you.
thing.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
100%. It
Yeah.
would. Yeah, because there's so many little things that you
Yes.
could just check these boxes, you'd be
Yes.
fine, but you're not doing that.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
Plus, they follow. It's quiet. They follow you around every play. Like your dad doesn't follow you out to right field after you strike out.
Yeah.
So
No.
it's different in baseball. Although if your kid strikes out looking, Matty, you're going to give him a little bit of.
I don't know, these days. Ugh.
Well, that shows.
What are you doing?
I think that's a dad.
Liam!
A dad. I was gonna say, I think that's a dad that knows his son has game, and he's not nervous to watch him. I think a lot of those dads they're so anxious.
Yes.
Their son's gonna screw up. Oh, I watch my son now. I'm like, well, whatever happens, happens. You
Yeah,
know, if he
right.
puts himself in a situation to succeed, then that's what it's all about.
Right.
But if he's up there, topping tee shots. Like, okay,
Well,
well,
do you
now,
have-
now
do
you
you have-
got
have
290 in.
expectations?
Do you have any regrets with your kids, like in sports coming up? Would you
I
have
was-
done anything different?
I was much rougher on the first one.
Really?
Yeah, I there were a couple times where I kind of showed my ass. He was pitching like 12 or 13, and I think he was struggling or not. I don't know anything about it. And think about it, I really don't know. And I'm screaming at him, use your legs. And I'll never forget, he stopped. He stopped like on the mound, and his head just turned and looked at me like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, all right, you're
Felt
out.
small.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I had a
I'm an
couple.
idiot. I was a couple of those, but not. I mean, I think that what I wanted to do was always be there for them.
Yeah.
So I tell them all the time, you want to throw? I'll go throw.
Yeah.
You want to hit? I'll go throw. And
It's available.
it's available.
It's up
Yeah.
to you.
But it's up to you. Once
Yeah.
you get to a certain age, it's up to you more than it's up to
The
me.
only I had two that I would change. I mean, there's 1,000 little things you would change. Obviously, no humans don't handle things the
Like
way they
little
want to at all
incidents
times.
and
yeah,
stuff
little
like
stuff,
that,
right?
yeah.
But two big ones I would have. I would have split I have twins. I would have split them. They always
Really?
played on the same team.
Really?
Yeah, and you don't do it at.
Competitiveness?
Yeah,
or-
and just the comparativeness and just the whole thing.
right.
You know, it's. I found sometimes with the two of them, it'd be like, well, whichever one of the better was a little bit better that year would get an
Right.
all-star. But
Right.
Yeah.
it's like they're not one entity, gang. They're two different people,
Yeah,
right?
right,
So I would have split them. Now,
Scheduling would have.
well, right, as a young
yeah.
parent, you're like, no freaking way.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. In
Right.
fact, it would be like if you draft one, you draft them both kind of thing. So
Right.
that's one. And the second one is one of them. I had a really high ceiling as a baseball player.
Yeah.
And I used taking baseball away from him as a punishment for a school issue or something.
Earl
and
Woods
his response
treatment.
to me was, Well, then just take that glove and burn it.
Re-raise.
And he re-raced all in. He never played again. You know, and
man,
part of
that
that is
sucks.
because we had him play, 1,000 freaking baseball games by the time he's 12. And it's just
You got to have a special kind of psycho, the right kind of psycho, to once you get to about 14
Re-raise.
to keep going.
I'll say this: like with my younger son, he liked football. I think he loves baseball more.
That's what he's doing now is baseball, right?
But I was like, man, you get to be the quarterback of the football team. Keep playing, and there was pressure. There was always pressure to, keep playing because baseball's so year round down here, man.
Yeah.
They'll use you all the time. But I felt like, man, it'll help you in the long run.
How
so
many
try
kids?
it.
How many kids? Both of you guys could answer this, but how many kids like you're watching your youngest grow up and play? You see his friends that are good. How many of them end up dying off like even before high school?
Correct.
A bunch.
Well, and they should. If you're playing Little League baseball, you should die.
The
off before
worst
high school.
thing
Sorry.
is-
Even, I'm talking about good players.
Oh, there's
Maddie,
a bunch. I
there
had
is a-
one. Like I said, I had
Do
one.
this. Go look at this
Burnout.
12 and under national baseball team we had. They have a 12 and under. Now, what the hell are we doing?
Exactly.
They're playing on 200 feet fences, and all the fat kids who can hit it over the fence are on the team.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that's all cool, but wait till puberty hits and go
Yes.
look at that roster and see how many of those guys
Yeah.
make it to even college. I bet you
It's very
one or
small.
two.
Very small.
And they beat teams 43-1. What is that? We beat New Zealand 43-1. Whoopee!
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get stuff
I did-
like that in youth sports.
Youth sports has been off the chain. You should. There's no reason. The level
it's-
of baseball in Jacksonville. There's no reason
Yeah.
to ever go further south than St. John's County.
We could all play each other. We would go to
Correct.
tournaments, and you've done it. You go to a
Yeah.
tournament in West Palm Beach,
Yeah.
and you're
We
playing a
did it
team
too.
from Jacksonville. What are we doing down here spending all this money?
And the kids get rings, they
Yeah.
get like
Yeah, yeah,
trophies.
yeah.
The kid just won the World
Our
Series.
age group of all
Really?
stars and playing all stars from like 6 to 13 or whatever. It was always, to your point, it was always us, Ponte Vedra.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we would go no matter what regional, state, wherever we went and played. And Fort Caroline had the big kid.
And it also
Sean Reed
killed-
Foley. We played those same two teams all over the state. We did.
Yeah.
To your point, we never needed to leave.
It also killed like Little League because now everybody plays travel, which is dumb. I mean, you should have in the summertime. You should go to your youth park, and you should play baseball.
Travel ball is just something that sounds cool for the dads that
That's
didn't make it.
correct.
It's a way to make money.
It
for
is.
somebody.
It's too much, and the perfect game and all those guys. Now that we're out of it, I mean, the charging for the parking and the tickets, and basketball's the same way. I got buddies who kids play basketball. They'll walk into a game and it's $20 a head for a 45-minute game.
I like
you
to
got
just
your
walk in
family.
without paying
You're
is what I
spending
do.
$80.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he walked into Brooks's game.
2 in a row. No, I did it
What?
softball
This
the
is-
night before.
These are high school
I didn't even
games
realize.
they're charging?
Oh no, these
No.
are summer ball.
I went
summer
back to
ball.
back. Okay, my niece
went
played.
to high school
My niece
then.
played softball for Ponte Vedra, and they were in the playoffs. So I went, and I haven't been to a high school game in years. And when I used to go, I would be covering it. So I never thought. I had no idea you had to pay to get into high school games. So we just walked right in the gate. Somebody looked at me, and then I went the very next day over to Hicken's place. Same deal. Walked right in to watch Brooks play. 2 in a row. I grifted the system. I feel pretty good about
He
it.
did.
That's fantastic. All right, before
What a
we get
cheapskate.
you all out of here, that's
Yes.
Matt's line. Over-unders on Jags, college football. Let's hear what y'all got.
Okay.
Season
He likes.
totals.
He's more bullish.
How
on
about
the
the
Jags.
narrative? The Graham Mertz has changed so much already. There, I know,
what
I know,
we
it's
do.
I know it is
I
what
know,
you do.
It's what we do.
But that guy, I remember, hey, I like college. I like,
I hear you,
Yeah.
Phil.
yeah, exactly. And I remember, watching Wisconsin games last year, and my buddy's a huge Badger fan, and being like, "This guy is so mud. Like, how can you watch this?" And then we get him.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this. I respect Shane Matthews,
Me too.
and he's much more bullish on this Gator football team. And anybody who's around Billy Napier, they love what he's doing with the program. So I just feel like Florida football fans got to suck it up and just not say squat till another couple years, and then you can talk. Do I think they should be improved this year? Yes. Do I think they will be? Yes. But the Mertz narrative is off the chains. I've yet to see one video of him hitting a deep pass. I'd like to
Right.
see one.
I'd put the Gator over under 7.5.
Really?
That's where I would put it.
What is it now? 5.5?
It was 5.5 in Vegas. I'd put it at.
I
think they will.
yeah, I
You think we've just find a couple ways? To,
if they hire again, don't take this as if there should be any hot seat on Billy Napier or he's going to get fired. I will lose. The confidence I still have in Billy Napier will be very much eroded if we're a 5-7 team in his second year at a major program. Where you're not at.
You should show improvement.
You're not at Mississippi State, Ross. There's players here. They might not be Alabama good or Georgia good, but they're damn sure better than Vandy good and Kentucky good.
Yeah.
So if you're really what they say you are and you're a manager of the program and you got them down, you should win 8 games. Yeah, okay, I'll give you Georgia.
Yeah.
I'll give you LSU on the road.
Florida State. I can't give
FSU
that one
at home.
yet.
No, I don't
Can't
think
give that one
that's
yet.
my point.
Is Tennessee at home?
I don't think you give that away. No, I'm missing a third. That's a definite loss. Am I not, or is those the only 2?
No, it's those 2.
Give me a sleeper in college football to win it all this year.
To win it all?
Yeah.
There
Can
are
you
no
have a
s-
sleeper?
There are no sleepers in college football.
Right.
Yeah, that's
No
the thing.
more.
The sleeper goes
LSU, would
to-
that be a sleeper?
LSU? I don't think so. They're
I
like
think
5th in the
LSU's
country.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
12 to 1's 5th in the country.
Clemson's like
Yeah.
9th in the poll. When
Yeah.
you look at the polls.
Florida plays 5 of the top 14. By the way, that won't make it easy. At Utah.
This used to be so much easier. I heard you talking about it earlier on the radio. It's too hard to follow college football. I have no idea who's on what.
Right.
Like, I don't. Auburn has maybe a transfer quarterback. Florida does. Everybody's got all
Auburn
these.
does. They
you-
got
you
that
don't-
from Michigan State.
They got Hugh Freeze.
You
They
don't-
got.
Yeah, Hugh
That's-
Freeze is going to win, man.
Yeah,
Y'all-
I
excited.
love
should.
that hire. Love that.
My
They
hire.
might go get 8 this
sister
year.
works at Auburn. She fills me in on War Damn Eagles. So.
Okay.
What do you call it? Second chance, you?
Yes, not
Yeah.
last chance.
Second chance.
And the Jacks
But-
are going to win 12 or 13 games, so y'all enjoy. You're welcome.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
So 12 and a half.
100%.
You want
You're
to put
always.
the Jags at
Well,
12 and a
I'm
half.
with you. But you're never.
I'm
You're
a
not
little-
quite as.
12.
I need
They're
to
going to win
see-
12.
We
Yeah.
won a lot of close games last
Offense is going to be top 5. They're going to win 12 games. They're going to start fast. They're
I
gonna be
hope they
5
go
and 1.
16-1, but the magic number is 34 sacks, boys. That's what we need.
Was that spin the wheel?
Yeah.
3 to 1. I guess.
3-1 odds.
Maddie, do I give 3 to 1 odds if I'm not awfully damn confident?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Pretty
You're
confident.
definitely getting
I need
spun.
35 sacks.
I'm not seeing that.
35 sacks. You're not seeing 35 sacks.
What
From a
was
team,
the number at?
From a team, it's
Last
35.
From 25?
It
From
is.
25 to 35?
Well, we will
No,
be
they were
playing-
35 last
Hey,
year.
look,
Oh,
you got to
okay.
think we're going to be ahead in a lot of those games.
They had 35 last year. Are we not going to be better?
You
We're
would
a better
think,
team.
yeah, they're going to be ahead in a lot of those games, so we'll be teeing off on their quarterback.
I
They're
may
gonna have to
just
throw
You
it.
know what I may do? I may just quit the industry if they don't.
I'm pulling for you. We need to see guys get to the quarterback.
Yeah,
We
see
need
there?
to see
And-
Trayvon.
and then that means Dan would get the spin, so that would be good.
I am fine
3
with those
spins
guys.
I offer that. It takes your soul, Maddie. Maddie, we're going to get you in the wheel.
I would love
some
to.
sort of contest.
I'd love to get on
We
that
should
wheel.
add. You know what we should do?
You know what I want to do?
Give
I
me
think
the
I
five
can beat. I think I could beat ET in a 40.
What?
What?
Oh, yeah.
You want part of that?
I think I could beat him.
Wow, this is like great news.
He doesn't look that fast.
We've got some
he's
soccer
going with
fields right
looking
across the.
fast. Maddie, what are you? 42 now? How old are you?
I'm 39.
39.
Yeah.
You ain't
39?
beating him.
But you know what?
In a 40, it's pretty close.
ET
He's going to beat me in a 200
Hey.
for sure.
ET, by the way,
Damn, Maddie.
ET's like 36, so the age is not that big of a gap. That's true. ET is a little older.
This is
man.
Hold
exciting.
on a second.
I
You're
love
telling me you beat the freeze and you can't beat every?
If
He
you
says
could
he
get
can. Everything
he
he can
can-
run.
in a-
with.
no,
You beat him in a 40?
100% Scott Toole
Yeah.
is faster than me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not-
He beat
I'm
the
not
freeze,
saying- I'm not saying that. Well, we've run routes together. He's on me like glue.
I love it.
But I think,
Okay, well, you know
maybe
what?
we get me,
Let's see.
ET, and maybe Riley
ET is
Skinner in there.
ET's becoming
Ooh,
the
yes.
Jake Paul of local races. He's going to cherry pick Marcel and then move on to 39. Every in his prime would have got him.
I can't wait to tell him.
Oh, baby. I'm going to get a text tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's going to be
good
great.
stuff.
Y'all
Thanks,
about, yeah.
you guys are the best.